Welcome everyone to this last Creative Corner of the year. My name is Arnaud Debia. I'm a part of our global team for creative development research at Ipsos, and I'm really happy to welcome you with all my friends and colleagues from across the world for this unique Christmas edition of our Creative Corner. So I'm joined by Rachel from the US, but also with a bit of a British accent. We have as well Vanessa. Vanessa, you are from our Switzerland office, and you're also a bit of a Brit and Irish, I must say. Olga from France, and Olga from France is also having dual origins because you are coming from Russia as well. And finally, Tina from Germany and from Bavaria as well, right? So
Correct.
very happy that you are with us today. And what we are going to do for you today is that we are going to speak about the best of Christmas advertising this year in the world, so in all your different countries. And just for that purpose, wanted to organize some sort of friendly contest, some sort of Olympics of Christmas advertising, and to see, which of these Christmas ads from different countries has won the contest this year and has won the hearts and minds of people across the world. We'll look at, which of these ads are best to create attention, to engage people, to build brand in the short and long terms and create conversations. And all these ads that we will speak about and even more, they've been tested with our creative assessment tool, Creative Spark. So we'll be able to tell you with real research evidence which one is clearly the best. But before looking into the results, let's see with you all which ad you have picked to be your local champion. And let's start maybe with you, Rachel.
Well, I have picked the Samsung ad. This is not an event spot in the style of many British and European Christmas ads. Rather, even in its 30-second version, this ad does a really good job, both of conjuring the spirit of the season and the holidays and showcasing the Samsung Galaxy product experience and products. Importantly, including its distinctive new flipping and folding phones. So that product focus probably accounts for viewers rating this ad very highly on being unique. The ad is also very entertaining. It makes people feel good, very important at this time of year. And the use of a well-known and engaging music track, I think, really helps this. And the choice of music was well themed to the story. And while we're on the topic of music, I would like to draw attention to the power of stopping a piece of music during a spot to create emphasis. We know from our database of tested ads that this is a very effective technique, and the creative team in this instance for Samsung did a great job of stopping and restarting the track to help them tell their story. And that really resulted in a surge of engagement that we saw in our facial coding with this spot at the end of the ad when the brand name, importantly, comes up. Lastly, I would just like to say whimsically that I loved this new technology play on the old idea of toys coming to life in the toy shop. And this idea of technology coming to life in the Samsung store was a really lovely touch.
Excellent. Thanks a lot, Rachel. So let's move now to another piece of creative. Maybe Vanessa, which ad did you pick?
Yes, so I may be based in Switzerland, but I'm afraid I've gone back to the old UK favourite, John Lewis. As anybody who's British would know that Christmas would not be Christmas without a John Lewis advert. And this year it was interesting to see really a return to their more traditional style of advertising. Last year we know they had a bit of a break from that. It was more charity focusing on kindness rather than on gift giving. Whereas this year we've gone back to the old style with the, that emotive story, this visit between the alien and the boy who shows all the different traditions of a UK Christmas. So it was really nice to see them go back to that. And of course, having, as you mentioned before, Rachel, that music, which is super important always to our John Lewis advertising. So we will see how it performs.
Yeah, let's see about that. Excellent. So two strong contenders already. Let's look now at what we have in store from you, Olga.
Yes, here in France, we have selected Celio for its totally disruptive tone. Actually, this campaign plays with an ironic interpretation of a traditional family gathering at Christmas. We like the risk that Celio team and the agency Basman have taken. Indeed, they introduced a new brand platform called Be Normal this year, and the Christmas film is totally in line with their previous campaign, showing issues that men could have with their clothes. For example, trying to put on their jeans with more or less success because of some extra kilos gained during the 3 lockdown periods in France. So this new Silo creative platform plays a lot with humor, and we wanted to see how the new Christmas campaign would perform.
Excellent, excellent. And definitely I can relate to these few extra kilos you can win
We all
during
can.
lockdown, win or lose, hopefully. And let's look now about our contender for you, Tina. Which ad did you pick?
Yeah, Germany wants to send a Christmas copy from a German discount supermarket into the competition. It's a copy called Your Wish, and it is from Penny. It's a very, very emotional one, and it's also generating a lot of conversations in Germany. Basically, the copy is featuring a family, normal, typical family in lockdown due to COVID. And one night, the son is asking his mother what her wish for Christmas actually would be. And then we see the mother, she's starting to reflect about what her teenage son actually has missed during the pandemic, which experience he could not make, which people he could not meet, which opportunities he could not use. And then in the end, she answers a very emotional statement. She says, I just want you to get your teenage years back. Yeah, so let's see how that one performed.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very emotional one and very different as well, I must say. So we didn't only look at those who wanted to have a broad panel of advertising. So we looked as well at this Coca-Cola Real Magic ad for Christmas. We look at Lindt, Tesco, Amazon, Bounty, and many more. But it's time now to look at the results. And I must say that there are two ads out of the four that you championed that didn't make it on the podium. And the first one, I must say that did not make it, is your ad, Olga. It didn't won the top seat. So why?
Yes, unfortunately, on one side, this film shows a very entertaining, unique, and surprising story, driving very positive engagement, thanks to its touch of humor. And we know that this ad will generate social conversation. But on the other side, this tone, the creative territory, is still too fresh, too recent to be clearly associated with the brand. So campaign certainly needs more time to install its new platform Be Normal. That's why the brand effect is limited and does not allow this new film to be among the winners today.
Okay, so first one which didn't make it, and there's a second one, and that's the Samsung one, Rachel, which didn't fully did the trick.
Oh dear, poor Samsung. So why not? Well, I think this ad is playing by the rules of regular advertising, and it's playing by those rules very, very well in many, many ways. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that this ad has a very strong social power. So it's going to be talked about, it's going to be shared, and that's really thanks to its combination of uniqueness and the popular, or for some unpopular, choice of music, and its likability. And it has a lot going for it, this ad. But as I say, it's playing by the rules of regular advertising, and those rules don't seem to apply, rightly or wrongly, for Christmas ads, for the event of Christmas ads, where the objective is perhaps less commercial, perhaps, and more about a brand being seen as part of the seasonal event. And that leads to some of the kind of fantastically entertaining, content-heavy, creative work that we see here. And Samsung, I think rightly, is not really a part of that group.
All right, all right. So clearly too consensual, but still a good piece of creative. And that leads us to the piece of creative, which is number 3, which actually tried to disrupt and break the codes. And that's your contender, right, Tina?
Yeah, that's Penny. Great, isn't it?
Yeah, well done,
Yeah.
Penny.
Yeah, I mean, the copy was definitely very successful in terms of social power. So as I said, it started a lot of conversations, be it face to face, be it in social media. So even the press jumped on it and made some articles about it. So it was really a lot of talked about. It was viral and it stirred many, many emotions. It was considered to be very unique and surprising. And so really, really interesting one. Yeah, but it's only ranked 3, right? So by
Yeah.
that, I think on the other hand, it was also very polarizing. So there were also some negative emotions actually triggered. Some people might even be happy that the teenagers did not do all the teenage stuff they normally do during pandemic. And most importantly, the ad in the end could not really be associated to the brand. People also told us that the ad did not really fit the way they felt about Penny. And if you think about it, in the end, of course, Penny helping teenagers to catch up with their lives does not really make them a better retailer for most people.
All right, all right. They did strike a chord, though, I'm sure. But yes, maybe not the best ad for that brand, at least in that dimension. All right, so we're left with winners and 2 winners. Actually, there's a surprise contender. And why there is a surprise contender? Because, as you rightly said, Rachel, that Christmas advertising, it's not about just about selling or building the brand. And as we've seen through your example, Tina, it's also about getting into conversations, showing to people that you're not just about money transactions, showing that you care, that you have empathy for people, rallying as well your employees, your stakeholders during this very busy season of the year. And for that matter, we have a first winner, and this first winner is Vanessa.
Yes, well done, John Lewis. It was really perceived as a strongly unique advertising and incredibly emotional for consumers. So that storytelling of this meeting between the alien and the little boy and this tradition of showing her what we do for Christmas, it really pulled at the heartstrings, which meant that it was incredibly memorable. And it really reconfirmed, maybe after a slight dip last year, that John Lewis is really the king of Christmas advertising in the UK. On the downside, maybe it wasn't quite as impactful because there wasn't a lot of John Lewis actually in it, and some consumers did sort of question what the alien had to do, what the connection was with John Lewis. So it didn't come out quite on top, but we're still very proud of John Lewis for their performance this year.
Yeah, well done, John Lewis. Exactly. And we have a second surprise winner, which I actually have on my table, which are these guys. I don't know if you can see them very clearly, but this is Lindt and Lindor, and they've done quite a great job in terms of building the brand and building the products through their Christmas creative. It's very simple, very direct. It's a very emotional Christmas story. So they do play, let's say, by the rules of conventional advertising, but they do have kind of subtle references to the COVID context and to the fact of being together again, which just drives strong emotions for Lindor, and in the end wins attention and pushes the brand in the right direction. So well done to Lindor for this great performance. So we are almost at the end of our Christmas Creative Corner, but we don't want to leave you without some special mentions or special prizes for a few ads that we looked at. And the first one is Tesco, Rachel. Tesco does quite a good job in some ways, right?
Yes, super entertaining. A long ad, actually, but lots of entertaining scenes and storytelling, very culturally relevant. I think the cultural perspective that the ad took was one of its great strengths and also perhaps one of its weaknesses. If you agree that nothing should stop you enjoying Christmas this year, then the Tesco ad really hit all the right notes for you. But very entertaining, great performances, comedic performances that made this ad stand out.
Excellent, excellent. And what about Bounty, Vanessa?
Yes, Bounty. I'm afraid it's actually one of my favourites because I'm actually a big fan of Bounty, and I learned that apparently not a lot of people are and tend to throw them away when they get to the end of their celebrations. And they've really created an advert around this consumer insight. So in terms of the performance overall, maybe not so strong, but it really worked well in terms of memory encoding. And that is really unsurprising. Who on earth could forget a chocolate bar falling in love with a Brussels sprout? It is just creative magic. I loved it.
And maybe our last award would be for Coke, right, Tina?
Yeah, right. Coke wins the award for brand linkage. So they really have a very strong brand link. The brand is super clear to basically everyone, and that could even make up for some weaknesses, maybe memory encoding, because the brand was so obvious.
Excellent. So I think that wraps it up for our Christmas Creative Corner. So I was delighted to be with you all and to hear about all your Christmas stories. I think that we are just left with eating this box of Lindo chocolates. And for you, Vanessa, you can have some Bounty, right?
Yes, absolutely.
For sure. Was great to have you. I wish you a Merry Christmas and end of year and start of 2022. And we'll speak again for new adventures. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.
Thank you, and happy
Thank
holidays,
you.
everyone.
Happy Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.